Today we'll be in Luke chapter 10. The assignment of motherhood may be the most difficult assignment you will ever have to accept. And the reality of being the assignment of motherhood is you often don't get the option of whether to accept it or not. Sometimes they are planned and sometimes they come as special little gifts from God, but either way they come and motherhood comes with them. As we start today, since today is Mother's Day, we're going to kind of apply a little bit of our intro to our message today, and a couple things about the assignment of motherhood. First of all, if you're taking notes, motherhood does not come with a manual. It doesn't come with a what you should do and how you should do that. This is why the first kid in most families is often so screwed up. Parents have no idea what they're doing. They're just winging it. They're just trying to ad-lib everything they do, and they don't really figure it out until the last kid, and that's why they stop. They finally get it right with the last of the large family. That's a joke. Number two, motherhood involves children who grow up. Kids can be beautiful. Babies, as much as they scream and do everything and demanding, babies can be beautiful and kids. Children can be horrible. They have their very difficult moments, but the worst part about children is they turn into teenagers. Mark Twain said it accurately: when a child turns 13, you should put that child in a water barrel and leave a little hole and just feed them through the hole in the water barrel. And then when the child turns 20 and stops being a teenager, seal up the hole. But it's accurately said that grandchildren are God's reward for not killing your own kids. Motherhood is hard because they go from being these sweet little cute babies, right, ladies? If you started with teenagers, there would be no more children. If everybody started a childhood with age 13, no one would ever have another one. But they're sweet and adorable and babies, and everyone goes, oh, it's a baby. And you think, let's have another one. They can't possibly be like the first one, and the second one is worse. But kids grow up. Number three, motherhood is assigned to flawed women. I had a plan this week I thought I was going to use for my message. I had to go to the Oakland County Records Department. And right where the Oakland County's Records Department is also the Oakland County Jail Release. Finds it fascinating how they release people. They had all barbed wire and a gate and everything. You let them out, they're free to go. I don't know why they have to walk that last little bit of a gerbil cage to get out. And I got there, and there was Channel 2 News and Channel 7 News were there with cameras and their vans. And I thought, what's going on? This can't be good. When you show up somewhere and the news is there, it's bad news. So I went in and did what I had to do for the records department. I came out and I thought, well, I'm just going to walk over. So I walked over to the two news guys that were sitting there with their cameras. I said, what's going on? Why are you guys doing this? Just out of curiosity. And they both told me this really cool story. They said, well, we're here covering this nonprofit charity, and they have raised money to get two moms released so that they could be home. They don't have enough money for bail, and they've raised their bail money. They're nonviolent offenders, misdemeanors, and they just don't have enough to get out. So they're raising money so that these two moms could go home and be at home with their kids. And I thought, what a beautiful story. I can't think that is amazing. So I waited to the news and I found the news story, and I found out that what actually happened is the two ladies were released, the bond was paid, and before they were set free, they had to rearrest them because there were two other jurisdictions that wanted them in custody. So they were set free for about 5 seconds, and then they were rearrested, put in a van, and driven to a different place. And I thought, well, I can't do that. That's not a fun story, is it? I thought it would be this beautiful little thing of a mom meeting her children there, and the one family, the kids were there ready to meet mom, but mom was rearrested and taken in. And you know what? There is no such thing as a perfect mom, is there? You know why there's no such thing as a perfect mom? Because there are no perfect people. Moms are not perfect. They make mistakes. Some of them make mistakes that come with felony convictions. Some of them make mistakes and you married him. Either way, moms make mistakes because they are flawed people, but everyone is flawed, and that is why Jesus died for us. With that in mind, I thought there's some similarities between that of a motherhood and the Christian life. Motherhood doesn't come with a manual, but we have a manual. It's God's Word. And often the problem is, much like when I get things as a typical man, when you have to assemble things, I usually try to assemble it first, especially kids' toys and stuff, try to assemble it without the instructions, and after about an hour and putting slot A into slot B and finding out slot B was supposed to go in slot C, and realizing it didn't work, Then I pull out the instructions and disassemble what I did and make it the right way and correct it. How much of our life is like that? We fail to follow the manual, the instructions of our life, which is God's Word, and then after it's destroyed, we have to go back and reassemble it according to it. We have a manual, it's God's Word. Ministry involves people. Where motherhood involves children, ministry involves people. I heard one person say, I love God. I love God. I just can't stand his kids. You know, I understand the sentiment. I can relate to that often, but that is not the mark of a minister. I was talking with a person this week in Florida, and they were talking about the one pastor that they had and said that he got up and announced to people that my job is to preach, and they said he was a wonderful preacher. I will not waste my time going to hospitals. I will not waste my time doing funerals. That is not what I am. I do not like people, and I don't want to do that. That is not a pastor. That is not a pastor. That is just someone who gets up and eloquently speaks to you. You can get that online. You can find that on the radio. A pastor is somebody who is involved in people's lives, who struggle with them, who do funerals for them, who cry with them and rejoice with them at the good and the bad. And I'll let you decide whether the child is the good or the bad. And lastly, you are not perfect. And here's the great thing about this as we look at Luke chapter 10. God does not use the superstars of Christianity. That is not who God uses. God uses sweet little old ladies more than he uses the preachers that are on TV. God uses the humble. God does not use the proud. He rejects the proud. God uses the least of these. The Apostle Paul said God uses the foolish things of the world. As we saw last week, God uses the alsos. So in Luke chapter 10,